GCOM. This is not an issue of SOPs. This is an issue of the real irregularities raised by GCOM and the amount of extra ballots which were found in boxes that ought not to be there. Ought not to be there. Cannot be accounted for. We don't know who voted. We don't know who allowed them to vote. They voted outside of the protection of the laws of this country. They are the riggers. They are the riggers. And so this narrative, which they continue to peddle, that APNU attempted to rig an elections, where is the proof of that? Where? Where is the proof of that? Where is the proof of that? The last time I checked, and that is why I started this conversation by reading to you the responsibility of the CEO of GCOM. The CEO of GCOM is not a political figure. It's not a political figure. The CEO of GCOM is not a member of APNU. Was not a member of APNU. It's an independent public servant. Independent. So when he operated and was refusing to make the report to the chair because of the amount of irregularities that were discovered, that was APNU. That was APNU. APNU caused that. Listen, if we don't, and this is what I keep saying to us, we have been insulted as a people for so long that they want to make the insult to us normalized, man. They want to normalize it. They want it to feel and appear normal. They must insult us whenever they want to insult us. They must insult us. But they are not attacking, if you notice, they attacked Transparency International for their rating of corruption. Ask them to attack the US. You heard what the US State Department said about Guyana being corrupt. You ask them to attack them. And this is the point that we're making, you know. The institutions which are supposed to protect, which are supposed to be obeying the law, they are serious concerns. And they are under the watch of the PPPC. And that is the point we are making. That is the point we are making. They are under the watch of the PPPC. More and more. So I'm going to continue to do some special editions as we go along, because I believe it's important that we understand the facts. And I wanted to spend a lot of time tonight on this whole question of this rigged elections. Stop allowing them to tell you that nonsense. Stop it. Let them stop it. It's a false narrative. It's a false narrative. I laid out to you 7, and there are more, but I selected an important 7 points of irregularity raised. These are concerns of the irregularity raised by the GCOM officials. They themselves, if they want to be honest, they themselves will tell you. You ask them. The 2020 election was not a free and fair election. There were too many irregularities. And so the PPPC remained in office by fluke. By fluke. That is why they were rejoicing when the elections petition, when it was dismissed. Because I'm telling you, it would have been trouble in the camp had this election petition been heard by a court. Because this is where GCOM is now coming to say they have highlighted the irregularities. They have highlighted them. So when they have highlighted these irregularities, they can't come and hold and say, well, all these irregularities, you still had a free and fair elections. Let me say this to you. It is very difficult to argue with the court's position on this point because, as I said, I personally believe that the court is correct. The court is correct, and I have reasoned this from all different legal angles. You can determine which ballot is valid or invalid. So if you open a box and you find, let's say the amount of persons which were supposed to vote at a particular polling station, let's say it's 1,000 people. But you open that box and you found 1,000 and you found 5 extra ballots there. It's an irregularity. But you will still have to count all 105. You'll have to count all. Because you can't be able to say, because persons don't put their names, so you can't be able to say, well, this one valid and this one is not valid. So I personally agree with the court that you have to count all. And the only way you can attack that level of irregularity is by elections petition. That is what the APNU attempted to do. To file an elections petition to address these irregularities. And I remind you, in summary, this elections petition was only dismissed because of a procedural error. We are humans and we do make mistakes. It was a mistake. The APNU and this entire country had to live with that mistake for 5 years. So all that has happened to us as a country, we have had to live with that for 5 years because of that procedural error. So we must not think for 1 minute that the 2020 election was won that it was an election without problems. There were serious problems. We can't allow that mistake to be made again. So this time around, we are going to be very, very vigilant. Very, very vigilant. And we will not accept by any shot, any mistake this time. And that is why there were a number of calls for other mechanisms to be put in place to ensure that these irregularities do not reoccur. But they were all shut down by the PPPC. They were all shut down. We know from the 2020 elections, there was a serious problem where you had extra votes. Extra votes, meaning people cast votes, people voted that were not legally authorized to do so. You had that in the 2020 elections. The APNU called for biometrics so that you can ensure that whoever is voted legitimately is expected to vote. That was not allowed. That was not supported by the PPPC. And therefore, you run the risk of having again this level of irregularities. But I called on you. This is a country we're talking about. This is our freedom we're talking about. And I want to end with telling you who you are. And I want to read who you are from the Constitution. Now, in chapter 2 of the Constitution, and I'm reading Article 9. It talks about sovereignty belonging to the people. And I quote, sovereignty belongs to the people who exercise it through their representatives and the democratic organs established by or under this Constitution. The power is in your hands. You are the real boss. You are. I was talking to some young folks the other day, and I said to them, for years we have gotten this thing wrong. And we do not really understand the concept of servanthood, of being a servant. The government is a servant of the people. We are the people who employ the government. We are the people who do so. You are the persons who employ the government. President Irfan Ali is an employee of you, of me, of the citizens of this country. Bharat Jagdeo is an employee of you and me, citizen of this country. But they don't tell us that. They don't want you to understand the power you have. But you have the power. One friend told me, he said, and he was referring to when Bharat Jagdeo said that we have real stupid people in this country. He was reminding me that in their country, no political leader can speak like that. You call the people who employ you stupid? You'll be out of office. But we sit and we allow the abuse. We allow them to abuse us by the words they tell us. They call us stupid. They call us mediocre. They call us all sorts of names. And then in elections time, they come around and they see, and they come around and they tell you, I am going to do all this for you. I'm going to do all that for you. You see, this whole thing about, I see them running around talking about free education and all of that. Another night, I'm going to take you back to the Constitution. And I'm going to show you that the supreme law of this land, this Constitution, giving you free education, they ain't giving you nothing that is not within the Constitution. You deserve, the Constitution give you an entitlement to free education. So all the time that the PPPC, when they had removed free and fair free education, they were violating the Constitution. Violating the Constitution. But I'm leaving that for another time because I want to unveil the truth to you. So they're not doing you. You see the sharing out house lots and so I'm going to bring you back to the Constitution. To what really was the intent of this? We as a people must be proud of ourselves. And many people have asked, why now politics? And I've said to them, listen to me. This was one of the toughest decisions I've ever had to make in my life. Because at this juncture of my life, I have a lot going on internationally, being tied to so many organizations internationally and responsibility. And I have to resign from all of that. But you know why it's not a burden? Because I'm not proud of who we are and where we are as a people. I'm not proud of how we are being treated as a people. And that is why I have joined APNU. Because I understand where the leader, Aubrey Compton Norton, where his heart is. This is not someone I just met. This is someone who has taught me. I sat in his class as a political student. I sat in his class. I know him. He mentored me. I know him. I have and I graduated with a lot of my class. I know I have a lot of my colleagues here that I graduated my first degree in international relations from the University of Guyana. I have a lot of colleagues that I graduated from. All of us share such a respected love for Aubrey Norton. Because when we sat under this man's intelligence and intellect, you just want more. Have you not listened to him speak? Have you not listened to him speak? He doesn't have to bluff. He doesn't have to try to grab onto words. Such a fluent man of great depth. This is the leader. I love serving and being under a person that you can look up to, that you can admire, that when you sit at his and listen to him speak, there's such great level of wisdom. And that is why I am saying this is the right person for Guyana. The right person for Guyana. This is the season for Aubrey Compton Norton. He understands where we are as a people. He understands the problems we are facing as a country, both internationally and locally, the influence and the effects. And I'm going to talk about, one night I'm going to talk about the issue of the security threat that we face in this country. And he understands that. He understands that. And that is the person I said, you know something, this is the time that I need to put my own personal development aside, and I need to support a team in which they really will take this country forward. I want to be proud of my home. I want to sit among my international brothers and sisters at different forums and be proud of where I am, of where I'm from and who I am. That is what I want to be proud of. I am tired of people talking down Guyana. I'm tired of people talking down Guyanese. I'm tired of it. I'm embarrassed many times. And sometimes it's for the simplest of things. You make certain simple recommendations, and instead of the government and the people in authority embrace, listen to it. Do you think I, as a person, will sit in leadership, and if a suggestion is being made by a person who is PPP, And that suggestion is very vital for the development or what I am doing for our people and our country. You think I will reject it because you belong to another party? That is sheer nonsense. That is utter nonsense. The maturity of leadership, I only see them in APNU. I don't see them because of how petty the PPPC leadership is, how petty they are. If you're not PPP, if you make any suggestions and you're not PPP, they shut you down. What kind of country is that? How can an attitude like that be sustainable? How? When I listened to Barack Jack Dio talk on one of his programs about me, I said, it hurt. It hurt because I'm saying, you mean to tell me I am living in this country and these people don't even know who I am in my own country? They never took an interest. Never took an interest. And it is so easy to find out all the things that I'm involved in, all the work that I'm doing internationally. They don't have a clue. Facebook is so easy. Every 2 years or so, I'm graduating from a university in London, this, that. Why don't they write the university? Why don't they write the university and ask them for research papers and so on that I've done? Why don't they do that? But sit on a program to internationally try to downgrade a qualified person who's a member and who's a son of the soil for you be glad? Listen, I thank you so much for your time. I really wanted to share my heart in relation to this narrative. I am truly disappointed in how this lie has continued for many years, for over 4 years. And I believe it is time we put an end to this. Put an end to this. I have outlined to you clearly that this whole concept of rigged elections is not rooted in this narrative of produce your SOPs and APNU delaying and didn't want to. No. That's nonsense. It is rooted in GCOM's own observations of the irregularities in the 2020 elections. And that is what has caused the problem. And it has nothing to do with the APNU government at that time. So this APNU, which we are presenting to you, is clean. Is clean. Is without any type. You can't point your fingers at them, and it's sustained. If you notice, our leader's been calling for a debate. Bring them anytime. None of them would want to debate him because it's sheer fluffery. You say things which people jump on. Irregularity, regulation. And none of them have sat and tried to say, let's dissect this thing properly. What really you're talking about? And I'm telling you, it's not the APNU. Coming September 1st, we have only one option, one safe option in this country, and that's APNU. We have to vote the palm. I thank you, and I see you again. Listen out for another edition very soon, where we will deal with some other issues. And of course, we will have time to dissect them together and to be very objective when we're doing this analysis. Let's not deal with fluffery. Let's deal with the real facts and unveil, go behind the veil and find the truth and to be able to confront the truth. My fellow Guyanese, I thank you, and I continue to say, I love you all dearly, and I will continue to do my best to serve our country because when we're served at the highest level, we can only make our generations, the longevity of our country more and more prosperous. Our young people coming, the generations coming, we will lay something, we will left something we will leave something very, very tangible for them. And that is integrity. And that is a country ready to move. Guyana is on the move, and we need to find the right team to put Guyana on the move and more advanced. I thank you and have a good night. Bye for now.